Welcome to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller, the podcast. I'm joined by Seth.
Hey, welcome, guys. Thanks for finding us on the internet.
Now, these shows originally aired on Brookings Radio, but now they're all here for your enjoyment. I hope you like it.
There you go. Sit back, enjoy the show, relax. Let us know if you want to see anything on future shows. As we said, this comes out live in the Brookings area, but enjoy this archive episode.
Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Welcome to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. This week on Beer Untapped, beer and food.
Beer and pizza is probably the classic example. I think beer and pizza is probably synonymous with wine and cheese. But beer itself actually has a lot of possibilities when it comes to culinary pairings. Beer holds many unique characteristics that maybe the wine doesn't have.
Wooden Legs brewmeister Seth Cook. There are now people who specialize in beer and food pairings, and many feel that beer goes better with food than wine. There are more styles to choose from when it comes to beer, and wine can sometimes overwhelm those taste buds. The best thing about beer and food pairings, trying out the different combinations to see how they work. It's beer, and it's food. It's supposed to be fun.
There's probably no bad match here. There's some complementary matches, but half of the fun is the practice makes perfect element. Feel free to mix and different flavors on your palate will bring out different flavors of a fruit or a cheese or a pizza, depending on the beer. And change the beer up with your different foods, and you may be able to experience different elements of the food.
Brennan Sully Sullivan at Pints and Quarts says, go for it.
Sometimes you get one that doesn't necessarily match up with your with what you're eating, but that's half the fun too. And then sometimes you find one that might be a little bit out there, and wow, this actually tastes really good together. I think it's a lot easier to pair a beer to a food item than it is a wine.
Seth says there are some things to consider with beer and food combos.
Match strength with strength. If you're going to have a really deep, rich, heavy dish, oftentimes it's well complemented with a beer that has the intensities of flavors to match up to it. So if you've got maybe a really hoppy beer, sometimes that goes with a deep spicy chili or a very rich barbecue sauce. Things you don't want to lose either one of the elements to the other.
He says you can also think about harmonies. What kinds of flavors are in the beer? Match those up with similar foods. For example, big stouts actually have chocolate notes, and they go great with chocolate. More on beer and food when Beer Untapped with Perry Miller continues.
Come Friday night, my friends and I start peeling off them labels, working hard all week, yeah. Put some beer on the table.
Welcome back to Beer Untapped as we talk about beer and food. Does it really get any better than that? Tyler Luckhurst at Pints and Quarts says they're a wonderful place to try some beer and food pairings.
Our whole menu is designed to fit different palates and a lot of the beers that we have on tap. One of our favorites is the Hangover, classic cheeseburger with a little bit of a twist with a fried egg on top of it. A lot of burgers pair well with pale ales or India pale ales. We also have now, since we're in the summer, we have a brat and chips option, which goes well with honey blondes. So we have Central Waters honey blonde that would pair well with our brat and chips option.
And we can't forget about this week's Mike Handel Beer of the Week. Tyler, take it away.
Dark Horse is Crooked Tree IPA. That one goes fantastic and pairs well with any of our burger options, whether you're a peanut butter and bacon fan, a Hangover fan with a fried egg, or just a basic 313 cheeseburger.
It's a fabulous IPA. I can't wait to try it on.
Yeah, it's got nice bold flavors that go well with the nice bold flavors in our menu.
And it times kind of nicely with the new History Channel TV show featuring the Dark Horse Brewers. Dark Horse Nation debuted this week.
Say it loud, say it clear, say water, drink beer, hey!
Drew Eklund at Brookings Liquor Store says they have several new items to try. And I bet you can find some pretty sweet pairings with some of these gems.
Trellis, it's a garden ale, which is it's actually a pale ale, but it's well balanced. It's got a mix of coriander, cilantro, pineapple mint, and rose petal. It's a nice floral mixture. The next one's pretty different too. It's the 59er. It's a Brett Golden Ale. It's oak aged, bottle conditioned. The next one is from Big Wood, It's called Morningwood Coffee Stout. It's a nice, sweet coffee flavor.
Thank you, Drew. My pick of the week, one of my favorite beers to pair with food, Weihenstephan's Corbinian, a big, bold Doppelbock that can stand up to intense flavors. Malty goes great with roasted and grilled meats. Corbinian, a classic German Doppelbock, and guess what? You can find it in the Bomber section at your Brookings liquor store. Next week, we go from talking about food with beer to food in beer. Specialty beers next week on Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. Drink local and drink responsibly. Thank you for listening to this archived edition of Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Feel free to listen to other episodes, and if there's anything you'd like us to talk about on a future show, please let us know. Thanks again.